Deputy President William Ruto appears to be engaged in a verbal war with Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i. On Wednesday, Matiang'i warned that the country is walking a dangerous path that could lead to violence. But speaking at a funeral in Nakuru County, the Deputy President said Kenya will not deteriorate into political violence ahead, during or after the 2022 general election. He also cautioned the police to remain independent and not to be used by any individual. CS Matiang'i in turn called out the Deputy President for what he said is stooping so low in his pronouncements, yet he sits on the National Security Council. Richardson Ghana with that report.
The mini-poll violence witnessed last week in Nakuru, Kisii and Kakamega counties and the subsequent arraignment of some leaders in court this week appears to have rattled the Deputy President and his allies, who now feel that state organs are meddling in politics.
Characteristics of a modern state. Number one is the rule of law. Number two is accountability through democracy. Na ya mwisho is to have a strong state. And a strong state is an impartial state. Tuache kuigiza maneno ya serikali na polisi katika maneno ya siasa, kwa sababu hiyo ni kurudisha Kenya nyuma.
Msimamo wa katiba na msimamo wa serikali ya Kenya ni kwamba jeshi ya polisi is an independent police force that is not expected to take instructions from anybody.
These leaders feel institutions meant to protect the rule of law and public freedoms are under threat.
There are cabinet ministers who have made the judiciary a punching bag, that because they are not convicting those they consider to be their political enemies, they want to turn the heat on our judiciary. I want to remind them that power is temporary, that there will come a time that they will not be in power and they will rely on a judge to keep them from abusers of power like themselves, as they are doing right now.
There was a time I used to laugh and joke and enjoy time with the president, and he sends me to do this and that and that. But I always had it in my conscience that this position I hold is temporary. I want to tell Matiang'i and all the team that I left behind, that position is still transient. Let us protect our country. Let's protect the values that are there for our nation.
Let us tell those who are intent in government, those who are intent on using violence, using their state offices to try and direct Kenyans on how to vote or which leaders to elect. We are beyond that era in this country where people will be directed on who to vote.
However, speaking in Murang'a County, Interior CS Fred Matiang'i says that those public pronouncements are in bad taste.
Na ninajiheshimu na ninaheshimu rais wangu. Unlike some people, I respect my president and I respect the constitution of the country. I cannot sit in the National Security Council and insult the Inspector General in public. Na tunakaa na yeye kwa National Security Council.
In response to Matiang'i's desire for tough punishment for those involved in the recent by-election violence, the Deputy President urged the courts to remain impartial.
An independent judiciary is the pillar to the rule of law. We expect that the judiciary will stand up to be counted as an independent institution and not to listen to any lectures from any quarters.
On this, Matiang'i defended the security personnel.
We have lowered down the standards of leadership even in some offices to incredible levels. How on earth would you sit in the National Security Council with the Inspector General of Police? Then you go to criticize him at funerals.
Ruto also quelled public concern about the possibility of the country descending into violence in next year's general election.
Hatutarudi nyuma katika siasa ya chuki na ugomvi na migawanyiko na ukabila. Tutaenda mbele katika siasa ya kuunganisha Wakenya na kupanga mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya.
The Deputy President says the pact that birthed the Jubilee Party here in Nakuru County close to a decade ago remains intact. He also says that the executive will continue to uphold the Constitution and protect the independent officers therein. Bridget, Ghana, NTV, Nakuru.